Hi guys, welcome back to week 3 of the Kids Weekend Code Lab, and today we are going to be designing our storybook cover. Alright, in our last class we created our character. Okay, so today we are going to be using that character to make the story cover for our story. Alright, but before that, let's just run down through what storybook cover is all about. Okay, so the goal for today is to understand the purpose and impact of a storybook cover. All right, then learn the key elements that make a book cover visually appealing, and then to explore how we can use AI and Canva to create stunning designs. Okay, so now what is a storybook cover? All right, a storybook cover is the front page of a book. It is what you see first before you open the book. Okay, and then we have this. All right, once you see a book, the book cover, right, is the first thing that you see. Okay, but then in this case we're talking about stories, so the storybook cover is the first thing that you see, just like we have in my screen here. This is a storybook cover, say My Big Welcome. All right, that's the name of the story. All right, and then look at the name here. All right, the name of the person that wrote it. So the storybook cover tells you what the book is called, which is the title. All right, who wrote it, which is the author's name, and then what kind of a story it might be, using pictures, colors and fonts, just like we have. Let's go back to the story right here. Right, this is the title. The title is My Big Welcome. Okay, and then a story about kindness. This is the author's name. In this case there are two authors. Okay, and then looking at this story, or looking at this book cover, I think for me it's something that has to do with an adventure. Okay, something that has to do with an adventure. The same thing that we see here. Okay, this one says The Magical Tree House. That's the title. Then the author's name is here, and it tells us what the story is about with the magical house and things we can see here. All right, so a great story, a great story cover makes someone wants to read the story just by looking at it. All right, and then this is your job as a designer. When you are designing a storybook cover, all right, you should be able to make people to want to read it. All right, you should have that attention grabbing quality, because if people see the book cover and then they are not interested in reading it, all right, then that means that you did a bad job as a designer. So when you are designing something, actually I think is one of the very important things in design is that it should be able to grab attention. If it can't, then it's a bad design for me. So the storybook cover, right, should make someone want to read it just by looking at the cover. Okay, so why is the storybook cover, why is it important? Let's look at the importance of it. So first we say it attracts readers. A well-designed cover makes people curious about the story, just like we said. All right, once you have like a nice design book cover, good fonts, nice colors, nice images or illustration, all right, it will attract readers and make people want to read it. Okay, so the next one we have, to set the mood. Colors, fonts and images hint at the book theme. Example, fantasy, adventure and mystery. All right, so now let's go back to those book covers that we saw. Let me show you guys something. I told you that by looking at the book cover, people should be able to tell what the story is all about, like get a hint, not really tell this whole story, but then get a hint about what the story is talking about. Like I said here, that looking at this book cover, it tells me that it has something to do with an adventure. All right, and then for me in this one, I would say it has something to do with magical fantasy. Okay, so you see how I'm able to like get a hint about the story, all right, about the novel, just by looking at the book cover. All right, So the next one is that it gives a sneaky peek. All right, the cover introduces the main character, setting or key elements of the story. All right, most of the stories that I've seen, okay, the character is always there, so like it uses that opportunity to introduce the character. So basically that is what we are going to be doing today. We want to like introduce our character. When people want to see read our story, all right, or watch it, the first thing they should see, it should be our character, and we're going to put our character on our front page. Okay, so then it builds identity. A unique cover helps a book stand out among others. All right, if the design is very good, very nice, all right, it will stand out among every other books, all right, that is there. Okay, so now let's look at elements of book covers. All right, storybook cover. So first we have the title, which is the name of the book written in a creative font that reflects its themes. All right, like you have here, My Little Trouble. If you look at this font, is very cute, because remember another thing is that the font you use determine the design that you are doing. Sorry, determines the type of font that you are going to use. All right, so this has to do with a story of children. So the font used here is very fun, you know, nice. It's perfect for children. All right, now the next one is the background. All right, colors, textures, you know, that help set the mood. Okay, so look at it here. Like we have the colors, we have, you know, the textures, the scenario, right, that, you know, help set the mood for the story. Okay, next one is illustration. You know, a drawing or AI generated images that usually represent the story. Like we have here the magical pages. This is what we mean by illustration. Okay, you can either draw this with your hand or use AI generated image. Okay, so then next thing we have the author's name. You know, the name of the writer or creator of the book, just like we have here, PDA Brown. This is the name, right, of the author. Okay, so, you know, normally we have additional details like logo, subtitle, or decorative element that enhance the visual display. So sometimes, all right, you have, you know, subtitles. What do you mean by subtitles? Sometimes you see like the name of the book, okay, and then like maybe like a few sentences, all right, written down, like talking about the book. Like we have here, we say not all seasons are the same. This is the title of the book, but then here you see they wrote just a small something about the book where they say facts about the northern and southern hemisphere. So if you are reading this, you know he's talking about the northern and southern hemisphere, right? Then sometimes they put logos, okay, if you want to. Sometimes you can put logos if you want to. So now that we have known what, you know, a book cover is, why it's important, and then elements that are included in storybook cover, right? It's time for us to make our own. Okay. So I've created an example using character just like the one you made last week. So let's take a look together and notice how the title, the background, character image, and even the name of the author are all arranged neatly. So this is what I made, and this is also what we are going to make. Okay, so I made this design. So now let's open our Canva and make it, or let's go through the steps first before we start. So step-by-step instructions to make the story cover design that we made. The first thing is, you know, to open a new design. We need to create a document size, and document size we use for this is, you know, storybook now. So the next one, you know, is to click on the empty canvas so that we get a color. So once we change the color, right, then we add an abstract shape. Okay, once you get that abstract shape, then the next thing we are going to do is to click on flip and then flip it. Then we'll resize it like we see here. Alright, so once we have done that, then we click on Magic Media, which is the Canva AI. So we click on it, then write our prompt. Alright, that's what we want the AI to create for us. And then click on generate, so that it will generate for us. And after that, look at it, it gives you 4 images, alright, once. So after that, it just picks the one I liked the most, which was this one, and then it appeared here. Then you resize and position it. Then the next one is to type your story title. Then after that, we change the fonts and the font size, and also change the color. Then once we are done doing that, we duplicate the text and then change the size to 16, and just say a little thing about the story. Okay, then the next thing we are going to do is to add another abstract shape and place it under, like we see right here. All right, then once we have done that, we'll type a story by Lesnar Manachi. That's the name of the author. Okay, then we decorate our book cover, because like this is just looking empty, so I just wanted to add pure things. So I just search for technology icons, since the name is Zoe the AI artist. So I just search for technology icon. I got some few, just those two, 1, 2, and edit. Then that is how we made this. So now let's open our Canva and start designing. So now this is our Canva homepage. All right, this is our Canva homepage. So the first thing we want to do is to click on create. All right, we click on create, we search for storybook. So we have this. All right, so I'll just click on it. So it's coming little by little. The network is a bit slow. That's why it's slow like this. So now that we have created our document size, all right, the next thing we want to do is to change the color. So I'll just click on this empty canvas, come here, background color, I'll click on it. Okay, and then we'll just pick the color that I want. So I think this is okay for me. This color is nice for me. Remember, you can always choose your own color. So I come here, elements, click on elements, and search for abstract shapes. Remember that you can generate, okay, the abstract shape if you want. So I want to get this particular one, so I click on it like this. Okay, so now let's change the color. So I just come here, change the color to white. So let's change the color to white. Now I have this. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is to flip this shape. So I'll come here, click here, and then flip vertical. Okay, So the next thing I'm going to do is to scale this to be very big. Okay, I think this is okay by me. This is fine. So the next thing I want to do now that I've gotten my background, okay, is for me to, generate my image. So I'll just come to Magic Media AI, click here, and then type my font. So I'll just say create Zoe the AI artist, okay, a tech savvy girl who creates magical drawings that come to life. So I just enter. Look at the images that it gave me, alright? But then I made a mistake. I was supposed to click on graphics, okay? Not on images. So what I'm going to do is to copy this. Right click, copy, come to graphics, right click, paste, and then generate graphics. So now it has generated it for us. Okay, so look at what we have. Remember I told you most of the times AI doesn't generate the same image 2 times, okay? But I think we're going to do something, okay? So I think I like this particular one. Let me just click on this. And also click on this one. Alright, let me tell it to generate something more like this. Let me see what it gives me. Okay, I think I'm going to use this. I will use this one or this one. Maybe I should use this. Okay, so now I think I'm going to use that one, so I'll just delete it. Use this and then let's flip it. I'll just click on it, flip, yeah, I want it facing the side. So now I have this. Okay, have this. So the next thing that we are supposed to do now, all right, is let's add the elements down here. So let's go back to elements, all right, and then pick a shape. Pick this particular one, bring it down, resize it like this. I'll just resize it like a bit like this, and then change the color to this blue. So now we have this kinda. Well, I'm not really feeling this picture. I don't like this picture, so I don't really know if I'll be able to get the particular one that I used before. Okay, see it here. So I'm just going to use remember I told you that any picture that you have clicked, like, it's automatically saved in Canva for you, so you already have it. All right, you already have it. So let's send this to the back. So right click on this layer, send backward. So it's now below the, sorry. So now that we have this, okay, the next thing we want to do is to add our title. All right, so let's add the title. So we just come to text, add a text box. Okay, bring it up here, and then we'll type Zoe, where we're adding our title. Zoe, the AI artist. Okay, so now we have this, all right? So the next thing we want to do is to change, the font. So I want to change the font to a font known as Leaks pattern. So we just type Leak pattern. So I'll just click on it. So it has changed. So yeah, I'll increase the font to maybe let me say 44. Yeah, I think this is okay. I'll place it somewhere here. All right, and then the next thing I want to do is to duplicate the font, and just add a little description about the story. So I just come here, duplicate it from here, bring it down here, and then I'll type she imagine she draws her dreams and they come to life. Okay, so now what do I want to do? Let me resize this, change the size of the font to 16. So now we have this. Okay. So this is what we have. Let me increase this a bit. So let's change the color of the title. Right, let's change it and make it, darker blue. Let's see this. I'm still changing the color. I'm looking for the right color. I think this is not bad. Let me check if it's the same color I had with the other one. Let's check if it's the same color. Okay. Okay, I think it's the same color. Okay, I think it's the same color, so yeah. Let's leave this one to the black color like it is. So the next thing I'm going to do is to duplicate this particular font here and then write the story by. So I'll just duplicate it, bring it down here, and then I will rewrite a story by Blessing Amarachi. Now this is the name of the author, okay? So now let's add, some elements. Our designs are coming in together very well. So let's add some elements. So we come to elements here, right? And then we search for, technology icons. Right, come to graphics, CO, let's see what I'll have. Okay, I've seen one, so I'll just click on this, bring it here, then right click, layer, send backwards. So now we'll have this just like we had in our distance, the one I showed you guys. So now let's add the second element, which is the star. So let's just search for star icons and see what we'll have. Star outline. So we're going to use this particular one. So I'll just click on it. Okay, now we, not this, I want this one, this. So we just resize this a bit and place it somewhere. I think we should shift this one a little bit. Resize this and then keep it somewhere here. Now let's change the color. Come to color and pick this. So now we have this. Okay, I feel like we should make this to be in the middle. Once that line shows, you see, a straight red line, it means that it's in the middle. So yeah. Now we have this book cover that says Zoe the AI artist. Oh, sorry guys, we said A instead of AI. Zoe the AI artist, she judged her dream and they come to life. So you guys saw how we just added like 4 elements. Should we leave this here? Not bad. Okay, so this is her computer that she's using to draw things to come to life. Even if you look at her hand, you see like she's not like a normal human being. So now we just made ourselves a book cover, all right, for our story cover. So in our next class, okay, we are going to now generate the stories, okay, the pages or the scenes for our story. All right, so for your mini projects, okay, for your mini projects, I want you to do your own book cover. All right, so design your own book cover according to your story. Okay, so if you know the story that you wrote down, all right, design a book cover for it, so that in our next class, all right, then we can start. All right, and then I want in your book cover, I want your character to be generated with AI. Okay, remember to add the author's name, the title, and decorate your elements, your story. All right, so that it matches the story setting which we are going to do in our next class. Okay, so that will be all for today. I'll see you guys in my next class. Bye.